evening, everyone, and welcome to the Cuyahoga Heights Board of Education regular meeting on January 22nd, 2025. Will the treasurer please call the roll?
Mr. Dobbins.
Here.
Mrs. Etter.
Here.
Ms. Prouse.
Here.
Mrs. Decker.
Here.
Mr. Suchaki.
Here, 5 present, none absent. On behalf of the board, I would like to welcome all students, staff, parents, and interested community members to tonight's Board of Education meeting. The board values and encourages public comment on education issues, and anyone having an interest in the actions of the board may participate during the public comments portion of the meeting. And if you wish to do so, please identify yourself on the board sign-in sheet. A copy of the board meeting agenda is available on the website. And of course, we ask you to silence your cell phones during the meeting. At this point, please rise for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Section 2, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Dobbins,
Second.
second by Ms. Etter. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, treasurer, please call the roll.
Mr. Dobbins.
Aye.
Mrs. Etter.
Aye.
Ms. Prouse.
Aye.
Mrs. Decker.
Aye.
Mr. Suchaki.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. At this point, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Mr. Young for recognitions and the staff spot.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Suchaki. Tonight we are going to recognize our January Students of the Month. I applaud you all for coming out during the frigid conditions to get your recognition. It really is special. During the cold times, things like this really do, they warm our hearts, and you're great representatives of everything we want out of our student body. So I'm going to start with our high school and turn it over to Mr. Dietre, who's going to start with the 12th grade and work his way down through the grades.
Thank you, Mr. Young. So Students of the Month for the month of January, starting with our 12th grade, Brody Boyert. I had made phone calls this afternoon trying to make sure everyone knew that the board meeting was still on and Students of the Month were still going to be recognized.
And we can recognize them at the next meeting if they missed it.
Yep,
Because we
and I still-
understand that it was challenging.
And that's what I told folks. I said, if you can't make it, we can do this later. But I do want to read what was stated by his nominating teacher. Brody is a master of the small things, of the small things that matter: politeness, consideration of others, and small acts of kindness. In the few months that I have known him, he has impressed me with his commitment to these ideals. He often notices things that go overlooked by his peers, and his attentiveness makes him more attuned to the needs of other people than many of his classmates are. He seems genuinely interested in the literature that we read, and I swear I can see his mind working when he's quiet in class. He's very in tune to the natural world, and he has an admirable appreciation for all things outdoors. Overall, it's been a treat to have Brody in class and get to know him in this small bit this semester. Congratulations, Brody. From the 11th grade, Aiden Flynn, please come forward. Aiden is here tonight with his parents, Karen and Joe. Come on over, I'll shake your hand too. And he is a resident of Brooklyn Heights. And here is what his nominating teacher had written. Aiden has been an outstanding performer on assessments throughout the school year. He is a critical thinker who likes to be challenged. Recently, Aiden had done a better job of completing assignments as well. He actively participates in class discussions, often sharing insightful ideas that enhance the learning experience of everyone. His dedication to improving his work habits and embracing challenges demonstrates his commitment to personal and academic growth. Congratulations, Aiden. Next, from the 10th grade, we have Carissa Teritzarolas. Carissa's parents are Debbie and Dennis, and she is a resident of Cuyahoga Heights. And here is what her nominating teacher had written. Carissa has been a leader in class achievement since the start of the year. Her math confidence has grown tremendously throughout the first semester, and Carissa is quick to respond to questions and diligently completes her classwork. She approaches challenges with determination and enthusiasm, consistently setting a strong example for her classmates. Her growth mindset and dedication to learning have made a lasting impact on both her peers and her teacher. Congratulations, Carissa. And the 9th grade student of the month, Sophia Jackson. Now, I do know that Sophia was feeling a bit under the weather, so I would like to read what her nominating teacher had written. I have Sophia in honors biology, and she is such a hard worker. While at times she can be a bit reserved, I think she may have found her calling in biology. Throughout this first half of the year, she has remained at the top of her class, even when compared with the honors classes combined. She participates more regularly now that she has gained more confidence and as the school year has progressed, and she has gained faith in her abilities in science. Even just knowing her for a half a year, I foresee her having a career in biology or the medical field. She is an absolute pleasure to have in class, and I know this will not be the last year I have her. Congratulations, Sophia. Next, we'll have Ms. Scotton come up to present the middle school students of the month.
Good evening, everybody. So we are going to start with our 8th grade student of the month, who is Lana Collins. Lana has earned the Student of the Month award for showing incredible resilience throughout the month. Whether dealing with tough assignments or personal obstacles, she has demonstrated a strong ability to stay positive, keep trying, and bounce back from setbacks. Lana's ability to adapt to change, find creative solutions, and stay motivated has not only helped her overcome obstacles, but has also inspired others around her. This award recognizes her resilience and hard work. So congratulations, Lana. Next, we have our 7th grade student of the month, Malachi. Hi, Malachi. Malachi is in the 7th grade, and he's a nomination for Student of the Month. Malachi has consistently demonstrated resilience, tackling challenges with a positive attitude and unwavering determination. Whether facing a difficult academic concept or navigating personal obstacles, he rises to the occasion with grace and perseverance, proving that setbacks are just opportunities for growth. Kindness also radiates from Malachi in his interactions with others. He is always ready to lend a helping hand, offer a word of encouragement, or simply brighten someone's day with a smile. His genuine care for his classmates and teachers fosters a sense of community and belonging within our school. Congratulations, Malachi, on a well-deserved recognition. We are so proud to have you part of our school family. Congratulations. All right, and last but not least, our 6th grade student of the month is Jackson. Jackson, please come forward. Jackson is this month's Student of the Month for the 6th grade. He embodies the qualities of a dedicated and respectful, hard-working student. In the classroom, Jackson consistently goes above and beyond. He actively participates in both group and independent work, always approaching challenges with enthusiasm and focus. Jackson is also known for his willingness to help others, demonstrating kindness and patience towards his classmates. As a true leader and role model, Jackson sets a positive example for his peers. Congratulations, Jackson. There you go. All right, and next we'll have Mr. Melvin come up for our elementary school Student of the Month.
All right, first up, 3rd grader Audrey Thomas. Audrey resides in Parma with her mom Merida, her dad Jared, and her sister Caroline, who is a first grader at CHES. She has a few hermit crabs and a bearded dragon named Arlo, which is after the good dinosaur Arlo, right? Yeah, that's what she told me. Her favorite subject is music because it is soothing, and she also has a ukulele. Her favorite essentials are her little sister because she means the world to her and always provides Audrey with a pick-me-up. Outside of school, she likes to go to music lessons and go to Cedar Point to ride spinning rides. When she grows up, she wants to be a famous singer. The message to her parents is that she's so proud of them for teaching her everything that she needs to know and for being brave and kind. Our teachers wrote up that Audrey is a remarkable young lady. She is a model CHES Red Wolf pup. Audrey is always kind and hardworking. She consistently does her best on all of her schoolwork and takes the initiative to make sure she understands new concepts. Audrey puts others first and is very empathetic towards her classmates. She is a friend to all and a great teammate. I am so proud of Audrey. Keep up the great work. Congratulations. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Xander Dominic. Xander resides in Seven Hills with his mom, Melody, dad, Josh, and her sister, Adriana, who's in 5th grade at CHES, and his mom is also one of our CHES wonderful staff members. Pets has 2 cats, Stinky and Sabrina, and 1 dog, Switch. His favorite subject is math because it is just fun to do math. His favorite essentials are his dog, his family, his toys, more specifically Sonic toys, right? Yeah. And YouTube. Outside of school, he likes to play video games, which is a new Sonic game, and play soccer. When he grows up, he kind of wants to be a YouTuber, but he really doesn't know yet. His message to his parents are, thank you for taking care of me and bringing me to school and teaching him. Now, the write-up that Xander's teacher wrote is, Xander Dominic has been chosen as the 3rd grade student of the month for a multitude of reasons. Xander truly represents CHES in the best ways. His genuine kindness is infectious, and he consistently brings positive energy to everyone around him. As a friend to all, he makes a point to include others and ensures everyone feels welcome. Beyond his kindness, Xander demonstrates remarkable perseverance when faced with challenges. Whether tackling tough problems or navigating difficult situations, he never gives up and puts forth his best effort. His resilience, combined with his childlike curiosity and gentle nature, makes him a great student and role model for his peers. Xander's commitment to learning, his uplifting attitude, and his thoughtful nature make him an absolute pleasure to have as a student at CHES. Congratulations, Xander.
All right, fantastic. If the students of the month could go back to their seats, I promise we're going to keep you about 5 more minutes. We have one more recognition, and then we have our staff spotlight. After the staff spotlight, we will take a short recess to get pictures with the Cuyahoga Heights backdrop, with the students of the month, and the Board of Education. So, the next recognition is our School Board of Education. In case you didn't know it, January is School Board Recognition Month, and Cuyahoga Heights Schools is celebrating its board members for their dedication and commitment to the students, staff, families, and communities that make up our amazing school district. Their dedication, commitment, and vision helps shape the future of our schools and students. Their focus is always on helping our students be successful in reaching their individual heights. Celebrating School Board Recognition Month is just one way to say thank you for all you do. Serving as a link between the community and classroom, school board members are elected to establish the policies that provide the framework for public schools. School board members give the community a voice in educational decision-making. The Cuyahoga Heights Board is responsible for an annual budget of $19 million, 800 students, 150 employees, and 3 schools. Our district ranks 24th out of 607 school districts on the most recent report card, good for the top 5% in the state of Ohio. We continue to have the highest quality of students and staff, and we've maintained our reputation as being leaders in academics, athletics, and the arts. Our students receive an education like no other, and we thank the board for their genuine commitment to our vision of empowering students to reach new heights. Even though we make a special effort to show our appreciation in January, their contribution is a year-round commitment. Please take time to recognize the following board members. I'll start at the end. We have member Mr. Mark Dobbins. We have board president Mr. Gary Suchaki. We have board vice president Mrs. Jennifer Decca. We have board member Maria Eder. And board member Stephanie Prouse. So when you came in and couldn't sit down because of the little box item, it's just a small token of our appreciation. I want to thank Mrs. Deal for her thoughtfulness in putting that together. I assure you it meets all ethical requirements, so it's just a small token of our appreciation. But thank you so much for all you do and for your commitment to our wonderful school district. Okay, so next we have Mr. Suchaki, we have the staff spotlight.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to read the resolution. Is that correct? And then you guys will vote on this. All right, where is Mrs. Lindsay Wisniewski? Come on up. You get to turn around and face the audience. In the middle. That's right. That's right. Yeah, so something else we do each month is we honor one of our staff members for the staff spotlight. Each staff spotlight member then nominates somebody for the next month. So we didn't choose you, one of your colleagues chose you, which means you're having a major impact on the school district, the staff, and most importantly, the students. So I'll read the resolution. Whereas Mrs. Lindsay Wisniewski serves as an intervention specialist at Cuyahoga Heights Middle School and has demonstrated an uncommon commitment to the success and well-being of all students. And whereas Mrs. Wisniewski goes above and beyond her role as an educator, showing a deep care for the fulfillment, growth, and success of each and every student, not only academically, but in all aspects of their lives. And whereas Mrs. Wisniewski's work ethic and dedication are unwavering, as she continually goes the extra mile to support both students and staff, providing an inspiring example through her talent, compassion, and professionalism. And whereas Mrs. Wisniewski, affectionately known as Ms. W by her students, regularly extends her time and efforts to assist students before, during, and after school hours, crafting and organizing effective resources to meet the individual needs of all student learners. And whereas Mrs. Wisniewski consistently exceeds expectations by supporting middle school student athletes in football and basketball, dedicating time to assist them during study tables to help them catch up on assignments, improve their understanding of class material, and ensure academic success. And whereas Mrs. Wisniewski's dedication, professionalism, and unwavering commitment have made an indelible impact on Cuyahoga Heights schools and the students she serves. Now therefore be it resolved that Mrs. Lindsay Wisniewski is recognized and commended as the recipient of the Staff Spotlight for her extraordinary contribution to students, staff, and community of Cuyahoga Heights schools. Congratulations.
Do you need to make a motion? Make a motion to vote?
Okay, we're going to formalize this with a motion. Someone like make a motion to approve the staff spotlight, please.
So moved.
Ms. Rouse?
Second.
Second by Mr. Dobbins. Any discussion? Congratulations. And thank you. Well, okay.
Okay, 5-minute recess. Oh, you didn't vote yet? I thought you voted. There you go. Go ahead. Vote.
Ms. Prowse.
Aye.
Mr. Dobbins.
Aye.
Mrs. Eder.
Aye.
Mrs. Decca.
Aye.
Mr. Suchaki.
Aye, motion approved.
Really?
Thank you.
Now it's-
Now we take the 5-minute recess.
I'm sorry. I didn't notice.
He's coordinating the photos.
That's all right. We're not in a big... Okay. So, as soon as...
Okay. So why, I wish I had met
Okay, we all...
Hartman,
okay.
we're gonna look at this.
Good, thank you. All right, we are reconvening from our short break, and we're going to start with the presentation by Mr. Dutray.
Well, no comments from the public, I take it?
There were no comments from the public.
Okay. Now we can go to 6.
Thank you, Mr. Suchaki. My presentation is not a full-blown presentation by any means. I just wanted to, one of the items on a later point in the agenda is the program of studies with its revisions for next year to be adopted. And I just wanted to offer an opportunity. I had listed those things that were changed from last year's version to this year's in sort of an 8-page, what the language was. And if you see red, that's where something was changed. So if I edited a paragraph, I tried to give you a good glimpse of what it was to what it's to. Most of the stuff was wordsmithing until I got to the very end when we added some language with regards to environmental science and the forensic science new course, okay? But everything else, I believe, were questions that came up or things that parents had asked me about throughout this course of the year that I just wanted to clean up, and especially like the first one on that page 4, financial literacy is now its own section. So in next year's graduating class, it is not it is its own category, much like one of the course. And so it then gets its own row in that table of graduation requirements. Right? So we're not looking to adjust any of the requirements for 22 credits or anything. We're just parsing it out so it gets its own path of credit. I did alter some language with regards to CCP to help clarify for families of what it was. I did add a column on page 11 on that third page of the attachment that talks about the assessment percentages and the GPAs, grade points that are associated with those grade points. Okay, the table sort of stopped at C minus, and I just wanted to include it all the way through. Okay, the table that describes, there's the page 15 item says honors diploma criteria. That one was the exact verbiage, the table provided by the Ohio Department of Education many years ago. It is all true and accurate. What we tried to do is summarize it down to the points that people could understand in common language. And so the new table that's presented is simply those pieces. You need to fill 7 of the 8 that are listed in that table. But we also work with families closely on that. The environmental science course, we're not altering the course, but we're adding to that course. So we're going to try and, it's called meat science, but in and amongst it, agriculturally, they would take a credentialing assessment, which would recognize them as an opportunity to be employed based on these credentials. And so we're weaving into that class some components, whether it's meat evaluation certification, food and safety science certification, or culinary meat selection and cookery certification. So there's a variety of jobs that we work with the entity who creates this curriculum. They align it to careers that could be, that a student could walk into directly from that. It serves 2 parts though too. A student who struggles to meet the graduation requirement in the traditional pathway to the state test, this course and these tests could replace that requirement. Okay? And so one of our ways that we're looking, and expect that kind of down the road, is more ways in which we can put career tech equivalents into some of our classes to allow them to get certifications through our classes that already exist. Okay? And we're going to be mining for those opportunities. The last one, we're excited to I talked to all departments about what kind of courses. I think my first year here 2 years ago, I sat in front for almost 30 or 40 minutes and talked about things that are cleaning up the program of studies. We offered a bunch of new courses last year. The forensic science department said, put a little life back in some of the classes that are offered in the science department, and this forensic science, unravel the mystery of science, learn about crime scene analysis, DNA, and the application of biology, chemistry, and physics. It says it all. I do think that this is going to be a popular class
question, but I'll make a comment. I'm glad we're doing the career tech component. I'm glad you've added that in there specifically. As you probably realize, there are many courses at the Career Center that are just booked solid.
Completely. And so we can't offer the same CTEs or the courses
Right.
that are offered at CVCC, but there are a lot of courses that we do offer in our building that I believe are, the supplemental units can get our students to walk out with CTE and certifications in other areas. And so look for that.
Okay. And that does lead to a certification, I'm just, as a
Yes.
glance here. Okay. That's good. I will make note of that at the next Cuyahoga Valley Career Center meeting. Thank you.
Thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you. Okay. Any other points or discussions on that item? All right, moving on to Section 7, Treasurer's Business.
Thank you, Mr. Souchaki. Just a few items for approval tonight. I ask for items 7A, 8A, and 8B for approval tonight. Consent agenda.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion for the Treasurer's Business, please.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Decker,
Second?
second by Mr. Dobbins. Discussion?
Yeah, just point out two quick things. If we look at item 8A, new vendors, just four. And the four are, number one is American Registry for Internet Numbers. That's to help organize our server items that we have. It's technology purchase service, estimated cost of $50 for the year. Number two, the new vendor is CEV Multimedia. That's for online career tech education curriculum at a cost estimated at $1,500. Number three is Ashley Mannon, cookie baker, and that would be for the staff member cookies you guys have tonight. Estimated cost of $60 for the year. And number four is Pete Carnabucci, doing business as Funk-Free Wrestling Solutions for cleaning of wrestling mats. Estimated cost of $3,000, excuse me. And the next item is purchase orders over 5,000. We just have one. And that's going to be for Champion Roofing. It's going to be for the greenhouse roof, re-roofing the greenhouse that we have. Let me pull up the pictures. Matt, I'm not sure if you want to talk more about.
Yeah, our greenhouse has leaked for a number of years. There's actually we were in there yesterday, and you're starting to see the windows up above are spider web fracturing. It's leaked for years. It rains down sometimes the wall of some of our middle school rooms, and what we're going to do is essentially encapsulate that structure with this metal structure that will solve our leaking problems, but it will not be a greenhouse anymore. It hasn't been appropriately functional for years. It's not sloped right. It doesn't drain properly. The humidity doesn't get ventilated out. It's just been it's a problem. And so we need to encapsulate it, and that space may in the future be used for maybe a small low-pressure boiler system that will heat our middle school wing because of the archaic heating units that we have that we've had problems with in the recent. You're shaking your head like you know what I'm talking about, Ms. Castle. So that's what that is. It's a simple fix to encapsulate it.
Any other discussion? Questions? Hearing none, Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Deco.
Aye.
Mr. Dobbins.
Aye.
Mrs. Etter.
Aye.
Ms. Prouse.
Aye.
Mr. Souchaki.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Moving on to Section 10, Treasurer's discussion and comments.
Just a few comments tonight. 10A, calendar year-end review. I would like to thank Yulitza Rodriguez, HR and payroll specialist, and Kathy Martin, our assistant treasurer, for all their work on closing calendar year-end 2024. Went by like that. So there's a lot of items that kind of are involved in that. So we work on processing 1099s. We work on W-2s. Everybody should have their W-2 in front. Cool. We work on the Affordable Care Act filing, and we work on closing out the USAS, which is the accounting side, and the USPS, which is the payroll side of the state software. So a lot deals with month-end closing for the month of December, and then calendar year-end from January 1st to December 31st. So quite a lot of steps that they go through. So just wanted to thank both Felix and Kathy for all their hard work on that. 10B, the Hillside Stabilization Project. So we have our timeline here on the screen. And if we remember, we had advertised for 3 consecutive weeks. So starting the week of December 23rd, week of December 30th, week of January 6th. And we held a pre-bid meeting where we walked the site with approximately 6 to 8 vendors. It was extremely cold that day.
Not as cold as it has.
Not as cold. It feels like it was colder that day. But we did that, and then a couple days later, on January 17th, we had the bid opening in the treasurer's office. So we had 4 bids, and Matt had shared that with the board. Rulin came in at the lowest, and let's see if I can pull them up. Let's see, is it drive or sheets? Probably drive. Perfect. So the bids came in, and remember, the estimate from GPD was $450,000. So Rulin's bid came in at a little bit more. Oh. Now they had a. Wish my screen was a little bigger. Push this down. Not let me click over here. All right. So we had 2 bids. We had the base bid, and then we had the alternate for the fencing that we had. The base bid was $394,757, with the alternate at $8,736. Next up was Maddox, which was $469,000. I'm going to round, with their alternate at $8,600. Next was DRS Enterprises at $518,000, with their alternate at $3,850. And the last was Fabrizi at $778,000, with their alternate at $9,400. So the lowest bid is Rulin, and we have a meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. Between us, GPD, and Rulin, just to go over their bid, and then start working on the contract, bring that forward to the Board of Education. So once the bid packet and everything checks out with GPD, they'll make a formal recommendation to the school district for that company, and then bring that forward to the board. And we're tentatively looking at perhaps doing a special meeting, Matt, if you want to talk to me.
Yeah, potentially next Thursday, if possible. Would maybe be the earliest. I don't see it being any earlier than that. Well, we're being optimistic that it could even be done. Maybe overly optimistic. It may even be the week after that.
So I see it says tentative, it says January, Monday, the 27th. Absolutely not Monday then?
No.
Now you're saying Thursday possibly?
Yeah, at the time that we published this last Friday, again, we were being optimistic. We haven't even received a copy of what a draft contract could look like yet. So I just don't know how we could get that to our attorney
Yeah.
on Thursday and Friday and have this to you by Monday.
Okay.
I think we both agreed that we're on a good timeline, but we would rather do it right than do it twice. Slow is fast, and we want to make sure that our attorney has been able to, basically attorneys have volleyed back and forth. Now, we have 2 options, is to package it and do it all at once, so you get the recommendation and the contract, or if it might take a little bit of time, we could approve Rulin with the condition, kind of like we do with hiring, as long as, that's pending acceptance and approval of a future contract or a forthcoming contract. So there's 2 ways we can do it. Again, we're in the mindset, let's try to do it all at once if we can. And if that's the next board meeting, that's the next board meeting. It's just we're trying to plan for all options. So we'll know more tomorrow. We have a meeting with GPD tomorrow to discuss, it's the Rulin thing, but we also have I think a pre-bid meeting about the fire system as well. So we're going to spend a lot of time with them tomorrow, and we'll get clarification on the contract draft.
And it's good that we have a bid that came in under GPD's estimate. So that's always nice from a financial standpoint. You never know about change orders. And again, we could hit oil, we could hit water. Not quite sure, but
Hitting oil probably would be.
Yeah,
best.
I was thinking
Diamonds under there.
diamonds, it could be anything. least at the onset, from what we're looking at, 394,000 plus the alternate for fencing that we have around. So we're under 400,000 approximately, which is,
It's good.
it's good. And then continuing to move on. Are there any questions? Or?
I do have one question. Am I to understand that the spreadsheet that was distributed, that that contains a list of the lowest and responsive bidders, that,
Those were the only bids. We had 4 bids come in.
okay.
There were 2.
And I didn't know if any assessment had
I
been
think
made
we had
before.
I think we had a total of 6, and 2 pulled out prior to
Okay.
that. So those were the 4 bids, and then with this matrix and then board policy that Matt helped facilitate with Jason Nolde, the Rulin bid is the lowest responsible bid that aligns with policy.
Okay. You said the keyword I was searching for, which is the lowest responsible bid. That's what I appreciate
Right.
knowing.
And also, interesting to point out, we had approximately 6 vendors come out that day to walk the site at our pre-bid meeting, which we held back on January 7th. So that's to kind of look at everything, see what it looks like. Of those 6 to 8, only 2 actually submitted bids to us. The other 2 bids that we opened on Friday the 17th were from vendors that did not attend the pre-bids. Just kind of interesting. So
Oh, that
they
is
must have read the
interesting.
specs and said, you know, you never quite know. I'm sorry? Yes.
Yeah, they were there both times.
Yep. Yep. And the last item, unless there are any more questions, is,
So we'll just wait to hear when you guys will do the figure of the board meeting if it's necessary, the special board meeting.
yep.
Okay.
You said, Mrs. Decker, you're out of town all next week? Okay. Yeah, my preference would be to have all 5 board members present when you're talking about such a big project compared to what we're going to do. So we'll steer clear of next week if that's required.
Can't vote.
You can call in, you just can't vote.
Right.
Is there an advantage to approving Rulin without a contract though? Like, would them be okay to like start ordering equipment or designing or doing work, or they just?
We need a contract in place. I believe ORC talks about 30 days, so you can accept a company. I'd have to really dive into the details, but you can essentially kind of accept a company with the thought that the law allows for 30 days to finalize a contract. It's probably best to just do it all one.
There's no advantage to
No, there really isn't.
hurrying it then.
There's only a disadvantage if something goes wrong. So, you know, our legal counsel is ready and waiting. We just have to sit with Jason Nolde. He has to populate the numbers, but, you know, tomorrow's meeting at 10 a.m., you know, the hope is that, you know, we accomplish that in the hour that we have, or sometime tomorrow. Then really it's a matter of just passing it to both sides, legal counsel, just to, you know, double check everything. And then if that goes smooth, it's just a matter of finding the perfect day and
Yeah.
time to
Yeah.
finalize everything.
Yeah, I don't want to, I mean, we won't drag our feet. I mean, the cost of steel could change overnight, you know, so we know it's within budget. We know that supply, you know, the supply and demand is good on our favor, so we'll get moving on it.
And just the last item is, we had a unique email from the Cuyahoga County Budget Commission. So they initially gave us the tax advance. So we have a tax advance schedule. Let me just put this up right here. And we get our first advance in January, second advance in February, and then the remaining amount in March. And then if I go back here, typically they give you 90% of what they collect in that first advance, but they didn't. They gave 60%. So an email came from Cooper, the treasurer over at Richmond Heights, and he goes, to the Budget Commission, I just noticed that the available percentage has dropped from 90 to 60%. Historically, 90 has been used when forecasting for cash flow, 60% the new standard. Brexville's treasurer Craig echoed the question. This is the lowest January advance we've ever received. It's about half of what was received last year for them. And then Todd, treasurer at Orange Schools, was echoing too. And then I highlighted here, he goes, I'm way down as well, and we'll have to scoop up the paper clips and rubber bands to make my January 30th payroll. So we're good from a cash flow standpoint, so we don't have to scrape up any rubber bands or paper clips to do that. Not gonna work. But the Budget Commission came back, and this is their email response. They go, good afternoon. The 2024-25 real property tax collection has been affected by later than normal certification of values and tax rates by the Department of Taxation for the state of Ohio. Cuyahoga County's current year tax bills are expected to be mailed out starting at the end of the week. This has resulted in a lower collection to date. Therefore, it has been decided by the fiscal office to distribute 60% of the collected real property tax for the first advance. So just kind of pointing out that, you know, even historically, we've been receiving a certain amount, but, you know, factors, situations change, and some of these schools that maybe, you know, didn't anticipate it have to kind of switch on the fly. We're good, so we don't have to worry about it. I just wanted to, just saw that was kind of unique and interesting. That's all I have.
Good. Any questions for the treasurer? Hearing none, we'll move to section 11, superintendent's business.
All right, so on the consent agenda, we have item 11A, item 12A, items 13A and B, items 14A through F for consideration on the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you. Entertain a motion for those items, please.
So moved.
Okay, I'm not sure who made that one first. We'll give it to Ms. Prowse and a second to Mr. Duff.
Ready to comment? Okay,
Comment. I'm
sorry.
sorry.
That's all right. It's all good. So 11A, this is the acceptance of the resignation of head bowling coach. Ms. Siley had, as she stated in her letter, some unforeseen circumstances that require her to step away mid-season here, so that's her resignation request. Under 12A, you've got chat supplementals, so you will see the head bowling coach for the remainder of the season at a prorated rate, as well as playset construction advisors. You'll see the volunteers are coming here in a minute, as well as senior project advisor, assistant swim coach, and a basketball scorer are on that list. Under 13A, we've got approve the employment of the updated substitute teacher list. We do this every month, but I don't see any new additions on that list, but we do approve that list from the ESC every month. 13B, this is the approval of volunteers. We're required by policy to background check and approve all volunteers who supervise our children. So you have a list of 5 people who will assist those play construction advisors. Under 14, 14A, we've got the program of study per the attachment that Mr. Dtre presented on earlier tonight. We want to approve the Educational Service Center primary service agreement. This is required every 2 years that school districts have to declare membership to a educational service center. So we're one of the charter schools of Northeast Ohio, ESC, so there's no need to go anywhere else. Letter C, we have another memorandum of understanding for College Credit Plus. This is with Lorain County Community College. Letter D, this is the approval, very proactive approval of a French class overnight trip to Canada. We're talking about Quebec as well as Montreal. Ms. Castle is here. Did you want to speak just a little bit about that? I know you gave me a nice write-up, but sometimes it's nice to hear something authentic. Please speak in English if you could, please.
Yeah, so planning the France trip and then getting the opportunity, they do free overnights for so I got to go on a separate trip as a professional development to France. And they do one-on-one training with you. So after going through planning the France trip and then getting excited again about this trip, I was just ready to go with the next one. And I love that the Canada trip provides opportunities for more kids to go since it's less of a cost. So we leave the 9th and get back the 15th. We would go straight to Quebec and then work our way down to Montreal. And then, of course, there are tons of activities designed for students to immerse themselves in the culture, get an authentic experience, and use the language that they've learned in the class. We'd be offered to all students who completed French 1. And I think that's a little snippet.
Yeah.
Go under prices, insurance, all that if you want.
No, they've already had an opportunity to do it, but I do appreciate you being proactive and as we encourage, all of our teachers plan appropriately, work with your building principal for these. This is a field trip that happens to be to another country, and gives us some time to fundraise and plan. Looks like you've already got a great trip planned, if approved. Letter E, we have the agreement between Cog Heights Schools and the Village of Cog Heights to upgrade servers at Cog Heights Police Station. Mr. Bjork, do you want to comment on that real quickly? And Mr. Hartman, you can jump in if he misses anything.
Yeah, so this is a more formalized agreement. They did the initial installation of servers and hardware to get the police up and running on our camera system. So Mr. Hartman's done a great job working with the Village of Cuyahoga Heights to put together an agreement to redo that because it's kind of past its lifespan. So all the new bells and whistles that go in the computer so that they could optimize their viewing experience of everything at Cuyahoga Heights when needed.
Yes, it's more formally. It was an email, I believe, 2015-ish was originally done from Mr. Wallace in email form, and this gives us an agreement that was collaboratively drawn up, meets the needs the treasurer's office needed as well as the village. They've approved it, so this is us approving it on our end so that they can continue to monitor our camera system and have all the necessary upgrades. And finally, letter F. This is to approve an updated interdistrict service agreement with the ESC. We have a staff member on FMLA, and we need to hire somebody. It's in our preschool, so we need to have that person replaced so that we are meeting our step up to quality requirements for ratio. So what this does is this allows us to have a contract for that individual and be able to pay that person for the remainder of the tenure of this school year. So you'll see the agreement and a personnel cost sheet for that. And those are all those items that I have.
Any questions for?
I just want to take a minute to acknowledge and thank the parent volunteers that are going to work on the play construction, the set construction. Without their contributions, I don't know how we'd get this done. So thanks to everyone involved.
Anything else? Thank you for being here to explain a little bit about the upcoming trip. We appreciate it. Hearing no other comments, Treasurer, please call the roll.
Ms. Prowse.
Aye.
Mr. Dobbins.
Aye.
Mrs. Evans.
Aye.
Mrs. Decker.
Aye.
Mr. Souchaki.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Section 16, superintendent comments.
Yeah, just a couple things here. So we will be back to school tomorrow. We obviously had to call off a couple days because of the weather conditions. Sounds like Florida got it worse than we did. I heard there was about 3 inches of snow in Destin, Florida. So, but the cold temperatures really do they do put a stress on your walkers. They put a stress on your vehicles. People with breathing issues, and we did have some mechanical issues over the last couple days. We had one of the pull stations over at the elementary school set off the fire alarm. We would have had to evacuate the students yesterday a couple times while we got that fixed. We had a service call in, fix that today. We had our air handler that cools the library, had a ruptured coil that rained water down onto the gym floor. We were very fortunate to catch that within likely 20 minutes of it happening. Had that happened overnight, it would have flooded the entire gym floor. So we got lucky on that one. So we had a couple things that we worked through. I got to give our maintenance staff, Mr. Zerbola and his team, a lot of credit for being on call and for keeping our systems up and running, being proactive, knowing that the cold weather was coming so that we could minimize any issues that we were going to have. So, but we will be back in school tomorrow. I'm very happy about that. I provided some handouts for you. You'll see we're a member of Ohio Schools Council, one of about 300 members, and some of the programs that we have here as a result of their consortium pricing, state pricing, you'll see save the school district in 23-24 $193,645. So there is a benefit there to joining Ohio Schools Council. So thanks to them, Chad and Dennis and everybody over at Ohio Schools Council for the work that they do. You'll also see our summary. I think I provided this in a board update, but I give you so many links it's easy to get lost in those. This is from the Ohio School Boards Association, OSBA. You're going to see approximately $86,000 in additional savings according to them. So you've got almost, $275,000 to $300,000 in savings by being members of these two organizations. So I just wanted you to have those so that you could see that. And then the last thing I provided you is coming from the Fair School Funding work group that convened, I believe, back in 2017-ish, 2018, to start coming up with a plan for the Fair School Funding formula, something that was more objective and easy to explain. And you were hearing a lot of comments coming out of Columbus that there is no plan, and this Fair School Funding plan, in air quotes, is not sustainable for a number of reasons. And I wanted to provide this fact sheet that came from the Fair School Funding group, specifically, just a couple of the questions. Are school districts around the state carrying cash balances of 150 to 200% of their expenses? The answer is no. This is not supported by data. You'll see that 1/3 of school districts have smaller cash balances in fiscal year 24 than they did in fiscal year 2019 before the funding formula went into effect. Only 48 districts, which is 7.8%, have cash balances exceeding 100% of their expenses. And just 10 school districts, or 1.6%, have balances over 150%. So this runaway cash savings that school districts have is just not true. And Mr. Muccio will tell you that when you pass a levy or you get funding, it's like having a savings account that has to last 5 to 10 years. And at some point, you run out of funds in it. Maybe not run out of funds, but you hit an inflection point, and people need to think about that. We should not be punished for spending money responsibly, for stabilizing the education of our students and staff, for having less frequent levy cycles, and being prudent in the financial management that Mr. Muccio's team has. It's just not true. You read a couple other things talking about the tax burden on page 4. It says, is the Fair School Funding Plan unsustainable, representing an extraordinary cost to taxpayers? The answer is no. Ohio's Constitution requires that funding for public education be a partnership between the state and local communities. And when the state does not fund its share of education, guess who has to absorb the cost? It's going to be the local communities. So, to say that this is an unsustainable model is, according to this, and in my opinion is growing every day, respectfully. Again, this is not a political statement. These are just statements of what I believe to be facts, that the funding formula is an objective model that fulfills the Constitution of the state of Ohio. And finally, like vouchers, does Ohio's voucher program save the state money, since the statewide average public school spending per pupil is $14,584, which is higher than the $61.67 for K through 8 and then $84.07 for high school? The answer is no. The voucher money does not save money. We've spent nearly $1 billion over the last 2 years on voucher programs. The number of vouchers, students taking vouchers, increased from 82,992 in fiscal year 23 to 150,912 in fiscal year 24. There are 173,156 private school students in Ohio, so that means 87.2% of private school students are likely using a voucher. We're not seeing a large exodus of students leaving our public schools. What we are seeing is the students who are already in the private schools now receiving money that they don't need. Vouchers are supposed to go for the underrepresented, the students who are maybe in true school districts that maybe are struggling with whatever the needs are. But what we're seeing is people who don't need the money taking the money, and then, as Mr. Burek can attest, as his daughter, who is in public school now but went through Catholic education through 8th grade, when she went to 8th grade, they raised the cost of tuition because they were receiving vouchers. And that's I'm sure that's not just a fact for the school your daughter went to. It's a fact everywhere. So there's going to continue to be a lot, as that budget bill comes forward, there's going to be a lot of talk about not being able to sustain the Fair School Fund. And by the way, we're on a guarantee. We receive one of few schools, but that's just the way it works for us. Who's on the guarantee, meaning we receive a minimal cost, but it's good for the 607 of us. It's good for the masses. And this is just this is pro-public school conversation. This has nothing to do with political party or affiliation. It's concerning. And wanted to read that verbatim and get that out there for the 15 people listening. Are we at 15, Matt? All right. That's all I have. Again, looking forward to having everybody back tomorrow. Stay warm and safe.
Thank you, Mr. Young, and I certainly support those comments you have just made. Moving on to Section 17, Board Policy Review. We have 3 items in this list, and I'll turn it back to...
Yeah, this is really quick. So the first thing you see is just simply an overview of what policies are being revised. We talked about Senate Bill 29, which was the student privacy bill. There has been some modifications to that, which automatically changed 2 policies. So all that we're doing here, even though I've checked some boxes and things like that, those boxes were already checked in prior versions of the policy. We are simply adopting new language that now aligns with the new law that went into effect on December 9th through emergency action when the governor signed that bill. So this just gets those policies up to date with this modification. Those are the two policies for review, and then there is a board resolution regarding updated special education model policies and procedures. And as I had mentioned in my Friday update, the Ohio Department of Education Workforce updated the special education model policies and procedures to include changes that can be found in the operating standards for the education of children with disabilities. All educational agencies must approve and then upload verification of that approval of policies and procedures no later than March 30th of 2025, and then beginning with the 25-26 school year, you have an annual due date of November 30th. Mr. Burek, do you have anything to say about that, other than we got this model policy from Neola, and this gets us compliant with the law?
Yeah, so, we last approved this as a board on 2015, I believe, and it's really pretty extensive model policies, procedures, just safeguards for families, how we operate special education in Ohio. There was not some significant changes in the document, but there are some unique little twists in there that we have to make sure we navigate. But all the things in place are positive moves in the right direction. It's been some time since the model policies have been updated. It really kind of coincides with the change to Ohio Department of Education and Workforce. Those things have been in committee for quite some time, but it's our guidebook for how we do business with special education, ensure that students are getting a free and appropriate public education in the special ed world.
Okay. Anything else on these items? Hearing none, we'll move on to Section 18, which is to adopt the special education model and policies and procedures. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Dobbins. Second by Ms. Decker. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mr. Dobbins.
Aye.
Mrs. Decker.
Aye.
Mrs. Etter.
Aye.
Ms. Kraus.
Aye.
Mr. Souchaki.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Section 19, we don't have a Board of Education agenda, so we'll skip over that and move on to Section 20, Board Discussion and Comments. Anyone?
Yeah, I was just going to put out here, maybe this is something for one of our future meetings, but I've received 2 emails as a result of being on this board that there's an invitation to a public meeting to be held in Columbus. I believe it's the first week of April, and it's being sponsored by an organization that I believe aligns with the group that is suing Ohio for the voucher challenge. So I didn't know, and I thought I'd put it out there. We don't have to discuss it tonight, but I just thought I'd see if there was any interest among the board and the administration in attending that meeting, what the pros and cons of attending it would be. And we don't have to act on it tonight. I just want to kind of get it out there for discussion and getting people to think of, to reflect on it. I've received 2 emails, I assume that others have as well, but if not, let me know and I'll be glad to forward them to you.
Yeah, I think you may have to forward, because I'm not sure I've seen it either.
Okay,
So-
well then I will definitely forward this to the entire board and to the administrative team.
Okay.
But it is, I believe, sponsored by the plaintiffs' organization that is currently suing the state, or at least the Department of Education, relative to the constitutionality of the vouchers in Ohio.
Okay.
I'll send this around and we can perhaps pick up the conversation at a future board meeting.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Good.
And you might recall that when we did go to Capitol Conference, we attended that session and came back, I had suggested that it would be good if we could get someone from that organization to do a presentation at one of our board meetings this year, or a community type of event, to give people an understanding of really what's going on in that process of trying to disband the voucher program in Ohio, what they're trying to do.
Well, and I think that some of this overlaps with the comments that Mr. Young made, and those were apolitical comments, and that's what I believe the tone and tenor of this meeting would be, is apolitical, but rather just to maybe perhaps revisit some of the facts that led to the current litigation. So I have. Sure. And I will forward that email to everyone here at these tables.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, I sent all of you a copy of the strategic plan of the Career Center in an email recently. Just point out a couple of, does anybody have any questions on that?
No, thanks for sending that, though. I did read it. It was very interesting.
Yeah, just a couple of comments on when that was reviewed at our meeting. From page 3, it talked about district safety, which would definitely up the concern about safety at the Career Center. We now do have an officer on site during the school day. That's not new, well, it's new, relatively new, but it was earlier, I think it started at the beginning of the year. And we're working on a new PA system because it's inadequate, it doesn't do the job anymore, and if there were an emergency, it might be difficult to get the information out. There are, I'm just looking at my other notes here. It was interesting to see the equipment upgrade that we're involved in, that we're trying to get things moving for next year. We're going to be doing some almost $250,000 in the automotive area, some hospital beds for the health area, CNC, that's computer numerical controls for the trades. Again, well over $100,000 on that, plus a laser cutter. There's about $1 million worth of upgrades scheduled for next year, because you've got to keep the equipment up to date. In fact, I had a conversation with the superintendent, and I talked to him. I said, we used to have quite a bit of career education here, and the Career Center is having trouble finding enough space. I said, I'm sure we have some space. Maybe we can work something out. The first thing he said was, but we don't do that stuff anymore. Well, yeah, we don't either. We tore it out. All that stuff is gone, but I have a space. Right? So we kind of left it at that, but there's a lot going on. CTE for All is coming, Career and Technical Education for All. There's a meeting in early February about this. The state is supposed to give a presentation on it. The governor's supposed to give a presentation. There's something called, and again, in talking with the superintendent, he thinks that the middle school exemption that allows you not to have career tech in the middle school is probably going to be eliminated. In other words, that every middle school will have to comply with that. We are already in compliance. About half of the districts in the Career Center are already in compliance. So there are some changes coming there for those districts. Just a reminder that our career specialist will become full-time next year. Another thing that's new. And that's all part of Career Tech, CTE for All. two of the, oh, I have to find it again. Two of the things being discussed, park and recreation, we've already talked about. You know, now that we're doing the remodeling, we're gonna free up some space. So park and recreation is at the top of the list. And another one that's being considered is veterinary science. I don't know exactly how that is going to, what shape that's gonna take this under discussion, but those are the things that are being added with the new space that's being created. As we add space to take on the new programs and then move things into those spaces, we've got to free up a couple of spaces. And our next meeting is next week. I don't think I have anything else that's more current than that. That was the meeting from early January. And actually, mid-December. So, questions? Okay, so moving on to future agenda items, section 21. Do we have anyone? Any future agenda items? Seeing none. Section 22, it should be noted, Board of Education members receive their agendas several days prior to the meeting and have had time to study and ask questions and so on. Upcoming regular meetings, all here in the Monterey Media Center. We have a work session on the 12th at 6 o'clock. The next regular meeting on February 26th at 7, and then the first meeting in March is on the 12th at 6 o'clock. There's nothing else to come before the board. I'll accept a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Dobbins,
Second?
second by Ms. Etter. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, treasurer, please call the roll.
Mr. Dobbins.
Aye.
Mrs. Etter.
Aye.
Ms. Kraus.
Aye.
Mrs. Decker.
Aye.
Mr. Suchak.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. It is 8:11, and we are adjourned.